I'm speaking to a group of very intelligent and highly motivated people in this room. However, I feel compelled to warn you about the case we're about to discuss with you for the next hour and 15 minutes. In 2011, when presented with essentially the same facts that I'm going to give you now, UK High Court Justice Sir Alan Moses admitted that he was bewildered by all of the goings on and toings and froings involved in Operation Tempura. So if you find yourself getting lost in the dates and the names and so forth, don't feel bad. We've actually compiled a timeline of events over the last 7 years in this case. The timeline, unfortunately, was too long. It was about 8 pages long to put up on the screen. But if any of you are interested in it, I can certainly email it to you after the event. Or alternatively, I understand Mr. Marchand is going to be putting up a copy of it on his website. So we can try to improve your understanding of it that way. In any case, I think what I'll do for right now is just give a brief overview of the operation, and then I'll turn it over to our panelists, who will then discuss their various involvement in the case. And then after that, we'll open up to the floor for questions. If there are no questions from the floor, I know I have several thousand questions, and even our panel may have questions of their own they'd like to ask for each other. So I think I should start by introducing myself. I'm Brent Fuller. I'm a journalist of more than 20 years' experience. I have been in the Cayman Islands for about 7 years, and I have covered Operation Tempura from beginning to end, or to whatever stage we've gotten to now. So I was also there on March 27th, 2008, when the Cayman Islands then Governor Stuart Jack announced that 3 of the top 4 commanders in the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, that was Commissioner Stuart Kernahan, Deputy Commissioner Rudolph Dixon, and Chief Superintendent John Jones, had been placed on required leave while allegations of misconduct in a public office against them were investigated. Now, that news, coupled with the revelation that a secret team of UK police officers, led by veteran UK lawman Martin Bridger, had been in Cayman since September 2007 looking into the case, left island residents stunned. Mr. Bridger is here with us today, and I believe he may still hold the all-time record for keeping any criminal investigation a secret in the Cayman Islands. It took several months and probably more accurately a few years for a clearer picture of this investigation to emerge. Court documents revealed in August 2007, former member of the Cayman Islands Legislative Assembly Lyndon Martin had gone to the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service and the Governor's Office to report that his boss, Cayman Net News publisher Desmond Seals, was receiving confidential police information from Deputy Police Commissioner Anthony Ennis. This information allegedly included records of police command staff meetings, locations of planned drug busts, and other matters which, if they got out, might have placed police officers in danger. In attempts to prove or disprove those allegations, police had the aid of another Net News employee, John Evans, who searched Mr. Seals' personal office at the Net News on September 3rd, 2007. Mr. Evans is also with us here today. Now, no evidence was ever found that such an improper exchange of information took place. Mr. Ennis and Mr. Seals were later cleared of any wrongdoing by the UK Met officers investigating the case. Lyndon Martin, the former legislator, was hit with a slew of criminal charges, including lying to police investigators and burglary. All but 2 of the charges against him, however, were dropped before the case went to trial, and he was found not guilty of the remaining charges. That was in September 2009. The roles of Police Commissioner Kernahan, Deputy Commissioner Dixon, and Chief Superintendent Jones, the roles they allegedly played in the September 3rd, 2007 search at Net News, have been the subject of discussion for a number of years in the Cayman Islands. The men are no longer with the RCIPS. Mr. Dixon was cleared of criminal charges in late 2009 that were entirely unrelated to the initial Net News office entry. Mr. Kernahan and Mr. Dixon have now both won lawsuit settlements against the government purported to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars at the least. Mr. Jones was reinstated to the RCIPS in 2009, and he served a further 3 years before his contract was ended. I should also mention that Mr. Kernahan and Mr. Dixon were never arrested or charged with anything in the case. So if you're confused now, wait till I tell you this next one. On September 24, 2008, a full year after the Operation Tempura probe began, Cayman Islands Grand Court Justice Alexander Henderson was arrested at his home. According to the warrant presented to Mr. Justice Henderson, the allegations against him amounted to suspicion of misconduct in a public office. So I'll read just briefly from the warrant two of the allegations against the judge. Quote, informing John Evans that you were considering whether letters published by Cayman Net News amounted to contempt of court when you knew or had reason to believe that the content of such letters was not capable of so amounting. Also, that the judge improperly used the influence of his position as a member of the judiciary. Mr. Justice Henderson denied all such allegations. He's always maintained he did nothing illegal, and he received a Cayman Islands dollars $1.275 million settlement. That's about US $1.5 million in early 2009, and his arrest was determined to be unlawful. The continuing fallout from Operation Tempura and subsequent follow-up investigations that fell under the separate heading of Operation Celt have been severe. The government of the Cayman Islands has spent more than Cayman Islands $10 million, US $12 million, since 2007 supporting the investigative work of the original police team, supporting subsequent criminal trials which convicted no one, and paying for various legal actions taken by and against the local government in the operation's aftermath. Former Cayman Islands Auditor General Dan Duguay reviewed a good chunk of government expenses from the Tempura case in a 2009 audit. This report he would eventually blame, at least in part, for costing him his job. Mr. Duguay is with us here today. Mr. Bridger left the Tempura probe when his contract ended in April 2009. He's since returned to the UK, where he has faced civil claims against him by both Mr. Kernahan and the Cayman Islands government. Operation Tempura's legal advisor, Martin Polaine, ended up being disbarred in the UK following the events of Tempura, though he's now gotten his license back following an appeal to the UK Bar Standards Commission. Even UK-based overseer of the Tempura probe, that's former UK Metropolitan Police Assistant Commissioner John Yates, is no longer in his former posts. Of course, it was not the revelations of Operation Tempura that led to Mr. Yates's change in employers, but I have a feeling his name may come up in some of the discussions today. We'll see. Martin Polaine filed a complaint with the UK Foreign and Commonwealth Office concerning the behavior of certain Cayman Islands government employees during the Tempura investigation. He eventually dropped it. However, the complaint was later taken up by Mr. Bridger. This complaint and a subsequent 185-page evaluation of it, done at a cost of $335,000 to Cayman Islands taxpayers, has never been released. The lawsuits filed by Mr. Kernahan and Mr. Dixon took years to settle, costing the Cayman Islands more than $1 million in legal fees, not including the settlement amounts paid, and those amounts have never been revealed either. Finally, the lasting legacy of Operation Tempura may be that it contributed significantly to the fraying of relations between the Cayman Islands and the mother country, but that subject I will leave for others to discuss at today's panel. And our first panelist, who will come up here to the podium to give his presentation, is Mr. Bridger. So, Mr. Bridger.